this is Munson with Munson Music, and we're going to talk about how you play a song called 8 Miles High by the Byrds. And it starts out with this cool little bass lick where you can play second on the A, second on the A, second on the D, second on the A, second on the D, second on the A, and then we go open E, and then go back to the second on the A, D, A, D, and then A. So if you want to kind of follow that bass lick at the beginning, it's kind of that 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, oh. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and then you kind of hear a lot of the open E kind of coming in as a lick, and you can kind of follow that part. Or if you wanted to kind of back that up with a chord, you could start on an E minor chord. We play E minor. First finger goes to A string 2nd fret, the second finger on the D string 2nd fret, and if you strum all those together, that sounds an E minor chord, and it sounds really sad. Now, through the song, you may also want to think about putting the 3rd finger on the B string 3rd, pinky on the high E 3rd, and kind of working that as an E minor 7 chord through the tune. That could be a very, very good change too. And you'll hear a little bit of a solo actually that kind of comes in, and some of these licks are crazy, and this is kind of an easy guitar lesson. But if you want to kind of follow a couple of those notes, you could go 10th fret on the high E string, and then 7th fret on the high E string, and then 8th fret on the B, and then 10th fret on the B. And then we almost kind of start that over again, kind of 10 on the high E, 7 on the high E, 8 on the B, and then 10 to 7 is kind of a pull off on the B string, and then we go to 7 on the G twice, and then 9th fret on the G, and then you could go find some tab for the rest of the lick. So you got the 10, 7, 8, 10, 10, 7, 8, 10, 7, 7, 7, 9. We'll talk about some other scales that can kind of work for this when we get to the solo part. Or you could kind of just back it up with the chord, and you could do that with kind of downstrokes. Might be kind of a cool idea. I'm kind of doing an 8 down count on each chord and kind of adding a little bit of muting. Or one of my favorite strum patterns for a 4/4 like this is down, down, up, up, down, up. So we took the E minor and tried that. You'd have down, down, up, down, 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 down. Or another strum pattern that could be kind of cool is down, up, down, up, up, down, up. So you down, up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, down, down. Or actually, something else that could be cool is kind of doing little arpeggios around the chords. The Byrds are so cool like this. So you may want to kind of try and just play individual notes of the E minor too. Just kind of throw that out there as kind of an open-ended idea, but that can be kind of a cool thing too, is kind of playing individual notes or breaking up the chord. That's called an arpeggio. And then from there, then we go into our main verse chorus. And we start out on the E minor, then you hear this cool little bass change to a low E string on the 2nd fret F sharp note. And you could back that up with an F sharp minor. We'll talk about an easier way to play this too. But normally you play F sharp minor as a 2nd fret bar, 3rd finger on the A string 4th fret, pinky on the D string 4th fret. And if you strum all those together, it sounds an F sharp minor chord. It sounds really sad. Now you may also want to think about lifting off the pinky and making that an F sharp minor 7. Or a good substitute for that chord could be something called D sus / F sharp, where you do 1st finger on the low E 2nd, 2nd finger on the G 2nd, 3rd finger on the B string 3rd, pinky on the high E 3rd. If you strum all those together, that's kind of a D suspended / F sharp, with an F sharp in the bass. That's what the slash means. So it's kind of this E minor change to the F sharp minor, the D sus / F sharp, into a G major chord. And then we play G major. 1st finger goes to A on the 2nd fret, 2nd finger on the low E 3rd fret, 3rd finger on the high E 3rd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds a G major chord, and it sounds really happy. Now you may also want to think about putting the 3rd finger on the B 3rd, pinky on the high E 3rd, and kind of working that for your G major. And then from the G, we're going to a D major chord. We play D major. 1st finger goes to the G on the 2nd fret, 2nd finger on the high E 2nd fret, and 3rd finger on the B string 3rd fret. And if you strum the D string to the high E string, that sounds a D major chord. It sounds really happy. Now around Ds in general, it can be kind of cool to lift off the 2nd finger and make that a D suspended 2nd. Or you could add in the pinky on the high E and kind of make that a D suspended chord and kind of say some things around D chords in general. And then from the D, we go to a C major chord. We play C major. 1st finger goes to the B on the 1st fret, 2nd finger on the D string 2nd fret, and 3rd finger on the A string 3rd fret. And if you strum the A string to the high E string, that sounds a C major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. Now on C's in general, it can be kind of cool to lift off the first finger, make that a C major 7. Or you could add in the pinky on the B string 3rd, make that a C major 9, and kind of say some things around C chord. Or another way to play C major 9 is to do first finger on the D 2nd, second finger on the A 3rd, third finger on the B 3rd, pinky on the high E 3rd. You kind of strum the A string to the high E string, that sounds a C major 9. And then from the C we go to our G chord again, and then back to a D major, and then we end back on the C major, and then we kind of do another C major. Now the weird part about the strum pattern is that E minor, F sharp minor at the very beginning kind of half the strum pattern. So you may want to do just a down, down up on each of those chords to kind of half that walk up. Or you could kind of split the pattern and have the E minor with a down, down, and then go to the F sharp minor for the up, up, down. So we try our chorus that way. You have the E minor, F sharp minor, G, D, C, G, D, C. We could even use the down idea too, that E minor, F sharp minor, G, D, C, G, D, C, C. Or something else that I like to add to a song like this too is bass notes. And a lot of times on that first down of the down, down, up, or the down, up, down, up, down, up, you can throw a bass note in for the chord. So on the E minor, you'd have low E for the bass. On the F sharp minor, the D sus slash F sharp, you'd have the low E for the bass. On the G, you'd have the low E for the bass. On the D, you'd have the D for the bass. And then on the C, you'd have the A for the bass. So we try adding bass notes to that. We'd have E minor, F sharp minor, G with low E bass, D with the D bass, C with an A bass, G with low E bass, D with the D bass, C with an A bass, C with an A bass, E minor low E bass, F sharp minor, G, D with the D bass, C with an A bass, G with low E bass, D with the D bass, C with an A bass, C with an A bass. Right after that first chorus, you'll kind of hear this little break where it's kind of the E minor to the F sharp minor, and then we go to the G, and then back to F sharp minor. It's kind of a waiting move before we go into our next verse chorus. And then we're back to our E minor, F sharp minor, G, D, C, G, D, C, E minor, F sharp minor, G, D, C, From there, then we'll be going into kind of a solo part, and you'll kind of it starts off with kind of that same little walk up, it's kind of that break. You kind of E minor, F sharp minor, E, F sharp minor, and then kind of bar, E minor through the solo. It's kind of this big vamp on the E minor, so you kind of mix it up. Or you might even try some of those arpeggio ideas, kind of breaking up the chord. And sometimes it can be cool on those parts to kind of make the bass note your first note and kind of mix it up from there. Or if you want to kind of play some of those solo licks, and a lot of those intro licks come back, kind of 10, 7, 8, 10, 10, 7, 8, 10, 7, 7, 7, 9, kind of comes back. And there's a couple different scales you may want to play around with through that solo. It's all a big vamp on E minor. And you could work something called an E minor pentatonic scale through that part. I've got a video called Talking with the Guitar Pentatonic Map that kind of goes over that in a cool way, where you could play 3, 5, 7 on the low E, and then 5, 7 on the A, and then 5, 7, 9 on the D, and then 7, 9 on the G, and then 8, 10, 12 on the B, and then 10, 12 on the high E. So that might be kind of a cool thing to kind of make up licks with, and there are lots of different licks you can work hammer-ons, slides, pull-offs through that scale bend, or even playing those notes together actually can be kind of cool too. And sometimes, especially if you're on your own, actually it can be kind of cool to play the chord and then make up a lick. kind of lean towards, and this is kind of a funky, cool sound, is something called an E Dorian kind of sound. And what that means is that the E minor almost starts to sound like kind of what we would call the 2 chord in the key of D major. And I know that's a little weird, but the F sharp minor I think is what kind of gives it that appeal. And what that really means is that you could use a D major scale over it, but you'll start hearing the E as kind of home bass. And if you know a D major scale, you could kind of start 10 on the low E, it's kind of the D note, and then we have 10, 12, 14 on the low E, and then 10, 12, 14 on the A string, and then we have 11, 12, 14 on the G, or D, and then 11, 12, 14 on the G, and then we have 12 to 14 to 15 on the B, and then 12 to 14 to 15 on the high E. So that's kind of your D major scale, but the weird thing is you'll start hearing the E notes as kind of home bass because of where we are, and that's what makes it sound Dorian. And this is a little weird, but that could be a cool scale to make up licks through. Or you could even kind of play the E minor and kind of get that E sound in your head and then play some of those notes. End on E notes, that can always be a cool way to kind of get a Dorian sound in your head too. So you want to kind of play around with that through that solo too and kind of jam out with the tune. And then after that solo, then we come back in on our main verse chorus. E minor, F sharp minor, G, try those arpeggios through that part too. We're making up licks around those chords too. After that last verse chorus, then we kind of go back into a little piece of our solo. We got E, F sharp minor, F minor, F sharp minor, and we kind of end on the E minor vein. Or you may want to bring back that intro lick. It might be kind of a cool way to kind of end the tune too. But that's the basics of how you can strum through 8 Miles High by the Byrds. So, good luck!